Hey guys, I'm Brad with B3 Customs, and today we're going to be doing a 5th Gen 4Runner light kit installation. So taking a look at what's included in your kit, you obviously get your wiring harness, 3 LED strips, this QR code that will take you to this video, a sticker. If you have a dual color light kit, you will also get a power panel along with a fuse jumper. Let's take a look at the tools necessary for today's installation. We will need your trim tools of your choice, maybe a flathead screwdriver, some dikes to cut the zip ties on the wiring harness, some electrical tape. We like to use a big zip tie or a clothes hanger will work just to feed the wire through the loom. We also like to use a heat gun, or you can leave your strips out in the sun for when we apply them. When feeding the wire, we also like to use some dry silicone WD-40 or something similar, along with a 10mm socket and a set of pliers. All right, first things first, we're going to start peeling some panels back to start running our wiring harness. First step, let's take your trim tool or your fingers, get in here, pull out this panel. Some body clips, like so. Now we're going to grab our other trim tool, and we're going to be pulling these 2 pins right up top for this headliner. Just sneak it in there, pry it down, just work it around so you don't break anything, like so. Get this other one. And there's one more. Now we're also going to pull the plastic on this side. So I can stick my fingers in there. Pop your pins. It's good. Now we have access to our headliner. So now that we have this prepped, we're going to work on this bottom panel. You only need to worry about this if you got a dual color light kit, because we'll be running the wire to our 3-way switch for the power panel. All right, so before pulling this panel, you also have to remove this pin. In this exact vehicle, the customer had a mold panel, so we just unscrewed this, but remove this plastic piece. So now removing this whole panel, we're going to take out this D-ring. So pop this up, grab your 10mm, pop this out of the way. Now that should help free up some of this panel. So now, just so it's out of the way, we're going to pull this factory power panel. So grab our trim tool, right, sneak it right here in the bottom. Gotta pop it out. There's some clips, 2 here, 2 here, 2 here. Gotta work around it, and then it'll snug down. Now what we're going to do is unplug right here. So there's a pin on the bottom. Pinch it, pull, and along with this one right here. Now this is out of the way. We have a little more access to run our wire. So now making our way to the back, let's go ahead and take a look at this wire loom. I went and grabbed the flathead. We're going to remove this little loom holder. Just go and sneak it in here. Pop these tabs up. Do it on both sides. Just kind of careful not to break it. Free that clip. This out of here. Now we're going to peel up with our trim tool some of this rubber. And there's clips right here you push in and peel up, like so. And we're also going to repeat this step on the front right here. Just got to sneak it in there, push your tabs, it should pop right out. Now we're going to go ahead and detach our factory dome lights. So you snake your trim tool right in the side here, pry it down, and undo this plug right at the top. So you just push in this pin, comes right out, and do this to the other side. Now let's remove this pole. So you just go again on the side, pop that out, grab our 10mm, and remove this. That's out of the way. All right, now we're going to grab our trim tool, start working the clips around. So you're just going to sneak it in one spot, and pry down, and start working your way around everything. And then you're going to pop it forward and down. To run the wire through, we're going to remove this piece right here. So step 1, unplug the speaker. So push it on this tab, pull it straight out. Then you're going to grab your 10mm, remove these 5 bolts. So 1, 2. And this last one, make sure you support everything. Set that to the side, and this should come straight down. With the body clip. All right, so now that we have everything prepped, let's go ahead and cut open our harness and see how to route everything. So first step, we have our 2 shorter looms that are going to go to each window for the lights. We have our 3-way switch wire that will get ran along the side, down into the 3-way switch. And then we have our longer hatch wire for the LED strip, which is 7-inch loom. And we have our power hookup wire that will both get ran through this loom to the rear hatch. So first things first, before we start routing, let's go and unplug our power hookup so it doesn't get damaged. Quick disconnect, set that aside. And we're going to get our 2 shorter window wires. Make sure nothing's tangled. And we're going to toss it right up here as our main junction. Route 1 along the top here and out this side. Let's loosely throw it up there. Grab our other one, move it back. Same kind of way. Just gonna route it outside the plastic here. Let's get it semi in the right position. And now we're going to grab our longest 3-way switch wire. Move that back this way. Along the top. We're gonna go down the side. Make sure you're free of any clips. And now we're going to pop out this switch panel, or not the switch panel, the access hatch for the tail light. This customer has an aftermarket application. Took that out of the way. And we're going to take wire, feed it out of here. And then we're going to essentially route this wire from here to here. So we're going to grab our long zip tie or clothes hanger. Go ahead and feed it down. Might take a couple different ways to route it. Grab your zip tie, pull it up, grab your connectors, overlay them like this, grab some electrical tape. Just gonna wrap it around. The main part is to protect the connectors so they don't snag. You don't need too much, just so they don't get damaged. Pull this, and then you're going to simply pull your zip tie and work your wire through. That comes out, and now we're going to work from this hole into this hole. So while it's still taped, grab your zip tie, feed it through. Might take a second. Grab it up. You reach in here, grab your zip tie. Pull your wire. Get all the slack out of it. And now you can undo your tape, and that is prepped. Now that we have these 3 wires loosely ran, we're going to run our power wire along with our 7-inch long LED strip wire through here. So you're gonna reach in here, tuck it up. Take a second because it's kind of tight. Gonna reach your finger down in there. Gently feed it up so you don't scratch the wire on the sharp plastic in the middle. And do it again with this wire. Pull out your slack. So now we're going to work on throwing these through here. So be sure to always run through this gray piece first so you get your weather seal. Just gonna work those through. Again, pull out your slack. And then before we run through here, you'll notice that this is all closed off. So we're going to take our dikes, make sure you're pulling away from the wire so you're not pinching anything. Add a little slit here at the top. And you can enlarge that to your needs. Careful not to cut any wires. It can look something kind of like that. We're going to run our zip tie through here, but first we're going to add a little WD-40 just to kind of help it slide. So a little bit on both ends. You can add more if needed. A little trick of the trade. Take your thing, add a little on the tip. And then you're going to take your zip tie and just feed it straight through. Just gotta work it through for a second. See what's coming out. Grab the other end, pull it out, and now you're going to take, you can either do one or both. We're going to do one right now, just so it's less material to work with. So again, you have your clip, grab some electrical tape. You're just going to feed it right over. You can do a significant amount just so it doesn't pull through and protect your clip. Makes it a little easier to slip through. I like to turn it flat with the zip tie. That's less surface area taken up. And now we're going to, again, take a little more WD-40, throw it in here, maybe even some on our connector, so it's large and bulky. And we're going to pull this through. With that WD-40, it allows it to slide easy. You're going to pull and push, work your way through. And that is through. So go and pull out your slack. Might be a little bunched up in some spots. Just gotta work at it. Now repeat the same exact process for this power wire. Now that we have both these pulled through this loom, you can go ahead and tuck it through here. Again, pull out your slack. And now we're going to feed them through here. So we're going to take down our panel that we already took out. And this way, that's a little easier. If you're having trouble feeding this through, you've got to keep trying a couple different angles, and eventually we did get it. So now we're going to take our two ends, after we're through this grid clip, put them on the zip tie. The same tape method. We're going to protect the connectors, get it on there securely, get it kind of like as flat as we possibly can. Now, just kind of work from both ends. Have that through, kind of keep pulling out your slack. So now we're going to take these wires and run them along the factory wiring right here. So if you take a look, we're just going to put some slack back in. We're going to run our zip tie right under the bottom of the factory wiring and over the top of these new wires. Get it semi-tight. Make sure it's following the track so it stays out of the way of the window track. Like so. You're going to cut the access with your dikes. Like so. And now we're going to take our new wires through this factory wire slot, just like so. Now that you have your wires ran, it should look something like this. Now we're going to throw the speaker panel back on. Line up your body clips, press those in, and then replace your 5 screws and make sure all the wires are not getting squished. All right, so now we're going to throw this clip back in here and plug in the speaker, and then now throw on this back panel. When throwing on this back panel, be sure to route these dome lights through the hole along with our new power hookup, and then this rear strip will go back here. So bring this up. Make sure you have access to your wires. And then we're going to come up from the top, slide onto the window. Kind of feel it out. Get our power for the dome light right there. Tuck this in the way it's needed, just so your loom is sticking out a little bit. And then you can start throwing your body pins. Go ahead and throw this back in there. Grab your 10 mil. And you're going to throw the cover plate on. Like so. Now take a look at our dome lights. So now that we have both of these out, let's take a look at how they work. We're going to be essentially replacing the factory dome light bulb with our new bulb. So on this side, pop them all out, the cover plate, from all these pins right here. Like so. Push these tabs, it'll fall right out. Place it with the clip going up. Just squish it right in there. Just as the factory light sits, like so. With your plug coming upwards. Now on this side, just so they're identical, we're just going to remove the light bulb. So it is symmetrical on either side. So again, same process. Just pull your tabs. Like so. Drop your bulb and put your cover plate right back on. Same thing here. Cover plate goes back on. You're ready for installation. The orientation of our power hookup matters, so be sure the red wire is on the plug side. So now we have our two dome lights. We're going to take the one without our new bulb in it. It's empty, so we're just going to plug this right in. Snap it in. Pivots in. Snap. Take our new power hookup. We're going to grab our plug, plug it in here. Line up your clips, make sure nothing breaks. Like so. Plug in your dome light. Right here. Tuck up your wires. Again, same system, you pivot it in. Snaps in place. So now before we install these LED strips, we're going to wipe down the surfaces. Either just use a rag or do some goof off, just so it's all clean and dust free. To install our LED strips, take these. We're going to do the window strips first. So that's the two shorter ones. Grab our heat gun and slowly heat up the strip on the bottom just so it's more pliable, and it also activates the adhesive. Just kind of work your way down. Careful not to burn the strip. You can do several passes if necessary. Still a little stiff, so we're going to do the top as well. And one more pass. Now we're going to head into the car, so we're going to peel back our tape. Head into the car. With the clip towards the back, we're going to line up the strip as we like it. About right there. Add some firm pressure. Make sure it's straight. And a couple passes. And then we can work on routing the plug as we like. We're going to run it behind this trim piece. Like so. Plug it in right there. That way the loom is just behind the factory plastics. We're going to repeat this process on the other window. Firm pressure. Going. Reapply this. Make sure it sets. Now we're going to do the same process for this back strip. Go ahead and peel the tape. With the disconnect on the driver's side, we're going to center it. Start on one end, and look down it, make sure it's straight. Just work your way down. Apply firm pressure all the way through. And go ahead and plug it in. Now, if you have a white only light kit, turn this on, you should have power. However, if you have a dual color light kit, let's take a look at the power panel. So now for the power panel, we're going to be replacing this 120 volt outlet from the factory side to our side. So all we're going to do is take these two tabs, push it in with your fingers, like so. Pop it right into this one. Should snap right in. Now we'll take a look to the other side. So now for our three-way switch wires, we're going to take our red into position 1, which is on the right side. Push that on. Black is going to go into the middle. Yellow is going to go onto position 2. You snug those up. Going to push the covers on so they're protected. Now we're going to take these two wires into our factory 12 volt plug. The white side is going to get the black wire. So all you do is simply press that in. The green side will get the red wire. So press that in. You're going to feed your wires in, pivot from the top, push up, snap it in. Okay. All right, so now we have the light kit dialed. Let's go ahead and finish installing this power panel. We're going to be putting in this jumper under the dash just so that the power panel can be activated when the car is even off. All right, so if you guys have a 2020 to 2024 4Runner, we're going to take this relay jumper, take a look under the hood. If you have a 2010 to 2019 4Runner, we're going to take this fuse step. You can skip this next step, and I'll show you the next clip. Let's go and install this relay jumper. So you can take a look at your fuse box, open this up, and what we're going to be doing is taking the accessory number 3 relay, which is going to be this one right here. So you can go and wiggle it, pop it out, or you can use your pliers. And essentially what we're going to be doing is tapping into this bottom terminal into this open terminal between the 50 and 30 amp. So you're going to take your female end right here, get this on here, line it up, make sure it's seated fully in there. Should look something like that. And take this male's end, take it into this bottom terminal, and we should have power. All right, so we're going to go ahead and work on the fuse panel that's right under the driver's side dash. All right, so now taking a look at this fuse panel under the dash, we're going to go ahead and replace this 15 amp accessory fuse. We're going to be tapping in to this empty port in between these 25s right here to get constant power and jump it again to this port. So first step we're going to do, go ahead and pull this out with some pliers. Now we're going to take our jumper that already has the 15 amp fuses in it, and we're going to orient it exactly like this. So we're going to have our cable running inwards. We're going to Z it into this port right here in between the 25s. Loop it around and just plug it right in. Make sure they're seated in correctly and they're oriented exactly like this. Now that we have that jumper installed, we go and check our power panel. You should have switch on power along with the factory functionality of your AC port. So now to power on our kit, you need to make sure your 3-way switch is either in position 1 or 2. And then you turn your dome light position to on and your lights are good to go. Now that we know everything works and we're confident with it, we can go and start cleaning up all the panels and this wire loom. So you're just going to come in here, make sure the wires are all out of the way, line up your body panel clips, work your way around, all nice and clean. Repeat this on the other side. And then we also need to throw in our 3 roof panel clips. Should snap right in. 1, 2, 3. And then here, we want to throw this grommet back over all the plastic. So you just kind of tuck it over. Got to work at it for a little bit. Push it straight down. Repeat the same process on this side. Kind of have to work around the edge like this. Go and snap it in. Take your wire grommet, line it up, snap it in. And now this last D-ring hole. All right, that concludes our 5th Gen 4Runner light kit installation. Thank you so much for all the support, and please feel free to reach out if any more questions.